Now the unification of Germany has to be done. And the people wanted to be done through which means constitutional means. But then came the era of William I and Bismarck. Believe that through constitutional means you can never achieve it. Because in the present day politics, that is during that day politics, it is not possible to achieve things through democratic means. Hence he believed in the policy of blood and iron. That is through war, only which this could be achieved. So first, let's look into what has happened. Who is William I? Okay. So what happened? Frederick Henry got paralyzed in 1856. He had a stroke. Australia kaadu, Austria.
Austria ni kaakunda Persia king ki normal ga take up cheyamani ante ee constitutional Australian vadaniki is monarch ane vadilesaru.
అర్థం కాలేదు నాకు పొలిటికల్ క్వశ్చన్.
ఆస్ట్రియా ని ఈ వాళ్ళు యూనిఫైడ్ గా ఉండాలి అని అనుకున్నారు కదా. దాన్ని ఆస్ట్రియా ని ఎక్స్క్లూడ్ చేశారు కదా. అది బికాజ్ ఆఫ్ monarchy రూల్ ఉందని
No. See, first thing is Austria was the main hindering path. You see how reactionary it is. It was dominated by Metternich. ఎక్కడెక్కడ రెవల్యూషన్ వచ్చి వీళ్ళు చేసిన ఫస్ట్ పని ఏంటి? తొక్కిపడేయడం. అంతేనా కాదా? రైట్ ఆర్ రాంగ్? సో దే నో ద ఓన్లీ పాత్ ఇన్ దర్ హిండ్రెన్స్, దట్ ఈస్ వాళ్ళ పాత్లో ఇది అడ్డంగా ఉన్నది ఎవరు? ఆస్ట్రియా. If they want to be united, they have to remove Austria out into the mix. Because even everyone takes a decision, it will influence some or the other way to remove this, to destroy this agreement or the unification. So they want their prime, who is their prime enemy? They have decided it is Austria. So it is because of these conditions they decided they don't want Austria onto their dominions. See, Austria, the concept of Austria is based on the principles of Holy Roman Empire. Holy Roman Empire ane medieval thought tho base ayindi Austrian dominance over all these places. The Holy Roman Empire ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో అవన్నీ ఇప్పుడు ఆస్ట్రియాలో ఉన్నాయి. సో ఆస్ట్రియా హోలీ రోమన్ ఎంపైర్ ఏవైతే ప్లేసెస్ ఆక్యుపై చేసిందో దాని మీద అంతా ఇప్పుడు ఎలా చైనా చెప్తుంది ఇవన్నీ నావే అని, అలాంటి డామినెన్స్ ఉండేది. అండ్ యెట్ చైనా ఈరోజు ఎంత పవర్ఫుల్, ఆస్ట్రియా కూడా అంతే పవర్ఫుల్. So what will happen? Obviously there will be clashes. So they don't want, see today do they want China to be part of that, or they want to be union, or if they form a union? Because it is going to dominate the smaller states.
Balance of powers.
Right. So they wanted Austria out of this union. Although it has German population. Okay. So this was the conditions. Now, where was I? It was in William I. Who is William? So William I was the brother of Frederick Williams. So Frederick Williams had a stroke and he was paralyzed and mentally unstable. So he has took up the power. So immediately after taking up the power, what did he decide? See, we are not going to achieve this unification. He was a strong German. He was very proud of his German heritage. He wanted to unify all the people. Because see, you over a period of time, see when right from your he is at 60 years when he has taken up this position. Like for the past 40 years he has been looking into this nationalistic philosophies. He wanted the spirit of unifying all of German states into a single state has burned these people. It was a nationalistic feeling. It was a nationalistic struggle. Even if you talk about Indian freedom struggle, there are many states, there were many kingdoms, but people as a whole wanted to unite and expel the colonial rule. Right or wrong? So such kind of these people were. But here it was the nationalist leaders under INC which has taken the lead. But here it was the king who has taken the lead. The king of a dominant state who has taken the lead in unifying all these places. Okay, now William I understood that through constitutional means it is not going to happen. Now what should we do? It is through raising a strong army. Let's raise a strong army only with which we will be able to do that. So he wanted to raise and modernize army. modernize army as well as raise army. But the people were, see now you have a constitutional form of government and the parliament was not acceding to his demands. It started rejecting his principles. That is, he started rejecting its budget. You want budget, you want resources, which should be done through taxation, and the taxation has to be approved by the parliament, and the parliament is not accepting his demands. So this was the jinx under which he was when he wanted to modernize army. See Frederick Williams had died in 1861, and he has taken up the position as, he has assumed himself as the king now. Now he has to take decisions. Now he wanted to modernize army, no one could stop him because he is now the king. Now the parliament is not listening to him. They started rejecting his proposals of modernizing army because they believed in constitutional means, because majority of them were elected and these people had the support of the people. Majority of them who are elected to the parliament is of republican ideas. They wanted to achieve things through constitutional means and they didn't believe in the concept of war and blood and iron. So they rejected his proposal. They were not, they wanted liberalization, constitutional reforms. They were interested more in constitutional reforms rather than in modernization of military. So they started rejecting him. So now he had three options. One is to abdicate the throne వదిలేయడం, లేదా parliament reject చేయడం, or completely leave the concept of improving the army. So he threatened to abdicate the throne. Then one of his General Roon, the able commander-in-chief, has said him, no, don't do that. Bring in Bismarck. Bring in Bismarck, who was then the German, the Persian ambassador to France. He was in France. Okay, bring Bismarck, let him handle things, he'll be able to do that. Now comes Bismarck into it. From here starts the period of real unification of Germany. Then now let's look into who is Bismarck. Bismarck was a well-educated man in law, various subjects. He was very well educated. His father was also an estate's owner. So he was quite rich from the thing. So during, you remember the Frankfurt Assembly, that is the Frankfurt Parliament. He was one of the members who was elected there. He looked into the various proceedings. Ante Parliament lo jarigeventi discussions. Similarly, he has looked into all those discussions and understood this is all time waste yavaharam. This is all waste of time. Nothing is going to come out of this. Nothing. ఏం జరగవు ఇవన్నీ ఊరికి అలా మాట్లాడుకొని డెసిషన్ తీసుకుంటారు. అంతే కదా, 300లో ఇదే కదా చెప్తారు. మీరు చూడలేదు కదా సినిమా. మీరందరూ ఇలా డిస్కషన్స్ పెట్టుకుంటే లోపల ఆడు వచ్చి మళ్ళీ అటాక్ చేస్తాడు. అటాక్ చేయాలా లేదా అని అందుకే డెమోక్రసీలో ఇదే ప్రాబ్లం. మీరందరూ కూర్చొని అటాక్ చేద్దామా లేదా అని డెసిషన్ తీసుకునే లోపల ఆడు మళ్ళీ అటాక్ చేస్తాడు, మనం పోతాం. వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు అటాక్ దెమ్ అని చెప్తాడు. So similarly, he said that this is waste of time, and he didn't believe in constitutional principles. He believed in the old order. But yet, his main aims were to unite Germany under the aegis of Persian kingdom. Under Persia, he has to unite whole of Germany. This was his aim. Now he has, so before that he has many roles. He has been also the ambassador of Russia also. So he was basically, first he was a civil servant. He rejected it, he resigned it, and then become a politician. After which he has called back and made him the chief minister, as well as the finance minister. So now he was given the role to make the parliament accept his things. The parliament still rejected it. So parliament session pettakunda, he only declared taxes. He only convened the parliament of the upper house. Upper house is generally dominated by the lords or the nobles. So using their accedence, he has passed the various taxes and he has raised money and he has started the process of modernization of the army. Apart from that, William I has also taken decision by giving ruin the aegis of the war ministry. General ruin. So both, all of them has started now in the process of unification of Germany. Now in this process, he has believed one thing, that is blood and iron. That is only through war you are going to unite Germany. So he has fought 3 wars, finally uniting the whole of Germany. The first war is the war with Denmark. That is Persia-Denmark War of 1864. So there were 2 provinces. In the Danish peninsula there were Schleswig and Holstein, were 2 provinces. Okay? In Schleswig there was completely, in Holstein the people were completely German, whereas in Schleswig it is partly Danish people and partly German people. Now they wanted to unite this. So to first win this war, he played diplomacy, because his greatest strength was diplomacy. Now he was a very close friend with the France, because he was an ambassador there. That is, Napoleon III was a very close friend of him. So he has decided, he has asked his help for neutrality in this case. Second thing, Russia. To gain his confidence, or to gain his neutrality, what did he do? The people of Poland were revolting against the Russian ruler. So what did he do? He has sent his army in support to quell this revolution. So what happened? He has gained the confidence of the Russian king. So he gained his neutrality as also in this sphere. Now he has isolated them. Now he went into the, now he had made a treaty with, Austria. Now he made a treaty with Austria stating that we are going to separate. You are going to get one and I am going to get one province. Okay, I am going to get Holstein, you are going to get Schleswig. This was what they have decided for. Now you need to know, so now everything background is set, fine. Now what is the background? See, all this time it was not there. Now there, for a war to start, something has to happen. So what happened? The king of Denmark wanted to occupy these places in 1852. In 1852 he wanted to occupy these places. Then there was negotiations and they have concluded the Treaty of London, stating that no one, they will be under control of Denmark, but you are not going to incorporate them in the kingdom of Denmark. Simple. Okay, now this was the treaty. But the king has died and his brother, that is King Christian, has taken over the aegis of Denmark. Now he wanted to occupy both these places. He wanted to unite them under his thing. Now they have, now what has done, both the Austrian and the Persian kingdoms together has given him an ultimatum. Within 48 hours, you go out of these places. Otherwise, there will be full-scale war. He didn't go and the war started and the Denmark was defeated. Okay? As per the treaty, they each one got their own provinces. After this, so what do you think? Bismarck would be okay with this? Bismarck wanted unification of Germany. అలాంటిది ఒక ఇంపార్టెంట్ ప్రావిన్స్ ఇచ్చేస్తారా? But it was only a temporary arrangement. Obviously his next target would be Austria. The next target ఎవరు? Austria. So he was setting the field for the conflict with Austria. Now if you remember the unification of Italy, what has happened? ఏమైంది? The last phase, fourth phase. Fourth phase లో ఏమైంది? వెనీషియన్ ఎలా ఆక్యుపై చేస్తారు? రష్యా సపోర్ట్ తోట. The Pope is the last phase, Papal States. What happened before that? See, France, Italy కలిసి ఆస్ట్రియాని అటాక్ చేశారు. అప్పుడు ఏం జరిగింది? రష్యా హెల్ప్ చేసిందా?
ఫ్రాన్స్ ఆస్ట్రేలియా రెండు కంబైన్ అయిపోయింది.
కంబైన్ అయిపోయా? ఇటలీ ఓడిపోలేదు, ఫ్రాన్స్ ఓడిపోలేదు. సారీ, అంతే, ఇటలీ ఓడిపోలేదు, ఫ్రాన్స్ ఓడిపోలేదు. ఏం జరిగింది? షేర్ చేసుకున్నారు. సి provinces share చేసుకో. Actually, what was the terms of the treaty? They will get Nice and Savoy. France would get if it supports Italy, Piedmont, that is Piedmont in the war against Austria. They have went on the war, but it was not a decisive victory, and Austria was still a stronger power. So what have they decided? After, in the middle of the war, the King of France has negotiated a treaty with Austria. Andike kada Count Cavour resigns. Under the treaty, what has happened? They got only the province of Lombardy. Venetia was given to the Austrian. Now, ఈ వెనిషియన్ ఎప్పుడు తీసుకున్నారు మళ్ళీ వెనక్కి? ఇప్పుడు యూనిఫై అయింది. ఎలా యూనిఫై అయింది ఇటలీలో? అదే అదే అల్తాఫ్, అదే నేను కూడా అడుగుతున్నా. మన ఈ క్వశ్చన్ అర్థమైందా? క్వశ్చన్ ఏంటి సార్ అంట, మళ్ళీ అంతా అయిపోయాక డిస్కషన్. చెప్పమని చూడు, పోనీ చూసి చెప్పు. అందరూ చూడొచ్చు, మనీయే కాదు. గూగుల్లో కాదు, టెక్స్ట్ బుక్లో. నోట్స్ రాస్తున్నారు మరి, అది లేదా? నోట్స్ కదా, చిత్త కాగితాలు అవి. ఏమని నువ్వు ఒక్కడే టెక్స్ట్ బుక్ ఉంది, ఫాస్ట్ చెప్పాలి. ఎయిటీన్ 66లోనే ఏం జరిగింది? ఏం జరిగింది? పా 7 weeks వార్ జరుగుతుందట. అసలు ఏం జరిగిందంటే, నేను వెనిషియా ఎలా వచ్చిందంటే నువ్వు 7 weeks వార్ ఇవన్నీ నాకెందుకు చెప్తున్నావు? ఏం జరిగింది చెప్పు. సరే ఓకేలే, ఇంకేదో టైం వేస్ట్ కానీ నేనే చెప్తాను. సో ఫస్ట్ బిస్మార్క్, ఇక్కడ బిస్మార్క్ పేరుది ఇంటర్నేషనల్ పాలిటిక్స్ ఇయర్. ఎస్ మేడ్ అండ్ ట్రీటీ విత్ ది Count Cavour. Sorry, Count Cavour is dead by then. It was with the king of Piedmont. What did he say? That you attack from the south, I'll attack from the north. గుర్తొచ్చిందా? గుర్తొచ్చిందా అలా లైట్గా? ఏ టెరిటరీస్? కరెక్ట్గా గుర్తులేదు. సరే ఓకేలే, పోనీ ఇప్పుడు గుర్తుకొచ్చింది కదా. సో హీ హ్యాడ్ మేడ్ బిఫోర్, సో హీ హ్యాస్ టు సెట్ ది ఫీల్డ్ క్లియర్ ఫర్ ది struggle with Austria, because getting rid of Austria means two things. One, he has to remove her out of the federation, and second thing, unite this people. That is, get the province of Holstein from them. So he had two aims in mind. Now what should we do? He has to play diplomacy. Now he already has the neutrality of the Russian emperor, Tsar Alexander. Now he has the neutrality. So he has convinced the France, because he was an ambassador there, to also want his neutrality in it. He has convinced her using his diplomatic skills, because Napoleon III was a close friend of him. He has convinced him not to take part in this fight with Austria, to remain neutral. And second, he had this treaty with Italy to attack from the south. Now in this war, Italy was defeated. Italy was defeated, but yet in the 7 Weeks War, the Persia was successful. They won the war. They won the war because of two major factors. Because they have modernized their army, they had better equipment. They had started having equipment produced in their own kingdom. And secondly, the Austrian armies were divided. They were not able to concentrate on one end, because at one end they have to fight here. All the Austrian army was strong. It was not able to gain victory only because they were divided and the concentration was not on one end. Okay? So, what would this result in? The defeat of defeat of Austria. So, finally, it ended with Peace of Prague. What were this? Italy got Venetia. Next, Persia annexed Schleswig-Holstein, Hesse-Kassel, Frankfurt and Hanover. Austria agreed to take no further part in German affairs. And finally, the North German Confederation formed out of 22 states of River Main under the leadership of Persia. The Kingdom of Persia thus established itself as the only major power among the German states. These were the effects of the Austro-Persian War. Ivi jarigindi result finally. Okay? Now, inka మిగిలినవి ఏమున్నాయి? ఏదైతే రైన్ ఫెడరేషన్ కింద ఫామ్ చేసి సదర్న్ స్టేట్స్, now the Rhine Federation has been abolished, but yet they were under the control of France. వీటిని యునైట్ చేయాలి. వీటిని యునైట్ చేయాలంటే ఎవరు? మళ్ళీ ఫ్రాన్స్తో వార్కి వెళ్ళాలి. అంతేనా? There is no other go. You have to go on war with the France. So, the next war was the Franco-Persian War. Now, what has happened here? The biggest blunder Napoleon III has done was he has not been neutral during the Austro-Persian War. He has lost friendship of Austria. Actually, the defeat of Napoleon III was defeated during the Austro-Persian War itself by remaining neutral. So, his defeat was then only, because Austria was very powerful and they had a strong alliance. Right or wrong? Because you remember during the Crimea War, what has happened? Crimean War. They have sent the troops, right, against Russia. All of them formed an alliance and supported them. Right or wrong? So, it had friendship of France, but France lost this friendship. Now, so what happened? Now the situation has to be set. ఏదో రావాలి కదా ఇష్యూ రావాలి కదా. This issue was started with the succession of Spanish kingdom. So, German king చనిపోయాడు. He didn't have heir apparent. So, Leopold, a German prince, want to succeed the vacant throne of Spain. Now, the France was not okay with it. Why France was not okay with it? Because it increases German influence and formation of a strong German state. German influence peripotadi. So, they was not okay with it. So, both of them started to negotiate. In negotiation ela ayindi. So, the king here, King William I and the ambassador of France have met. And they started to negotiate. In negotiations, they made it portray in such a way that in both the newspapers, in France as well as Persia, such a way that both have abused themselves, each other. ఒకరినొకరు పచ్చి పచ్చిగా తిట్టుకున్నారు. మండిపోతుంది కదా పబ్లిక్కి, వాడేవాడు మా తిట్టడానికి. అవునా లేదా? నేషనలిస్టిక్ ఫీలింగ్. ఆల్రెడీ దే హ్యావ్ యునైటెడ్ North German Federation. So, what happened? The people were burning with nationalism, both the countries. So, this led to a war in which France was defeated. So, France lost its dominance over this ended in Treaty of Frankfurt. Now, France lost its dominance over this Rhine Federation, that is the southern German states. Now, here Bismarck has shown his diplomatic skills, because all these are independent states. They were under their allegiance. So, he has, using his diplomacy, he has convinced them to join the German Federation. With this, the unification of Germany has been possible. Under the aegis of Bismarck, by leading 3 wars, he has unified whole of Germany. Now tell me, is it only Bismarck who was responsible for this? Without Bismarck, there was no unified Germany. నో అంటే సరిపోదు, నోకి ఎక్స్ప్లెనేషన్ కావాలి నాకు. ఇన్ని రోజులు ఇన్ని క్లాస్ అయిపోతుంది, ఇంక మన ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ది ఇయర్కి వచ్చాం. ఇంకా 1 word చెప్పు. Okay, right, very good. They have created a base. Because without nationalistic feeling and support of the people, it was hard for even using diplomacy to ask some of the states to be united into the federation. Right? Next.
It was mainly the shrewd diplomacy of Bismarck.
The question is it only? You understood the question or not? What was the question? Was it only the shrewd diplomacy of Bismarck or anything else? Very good. It has created a stronger base. Next, Inka? Yes, very good. Next.
Yeah, the army which was there at that time was one of the strongest armies.
Someone want to change this statement and rephrase and tell me? Who started the modernization of the army or increasing the arm strength? It was his opinion and it was his dream to do that. Bismarck made it possible, but it was his idea. He already started it, but in the later years, the budget was not approved by the parliament. Right? Next. Okay, let's say these are the points which you could remember. Now tell me, how would you end this answer? Come on, Otto. Yes.
They formed a strong base. Bismarck showed.
Yes. He called himself in his memoirs as the master planner. Yes, he was able to take all the advantages and plan the unification of Germany, which is true. With his diplomacy and skills and his politics, he was able to gain the prominence. That is his aim in achieving his aim of unification of Germany under the aegis of Persia. Okay? Right? So this ends unification of Germany. We have time, so we'll take 5 minutes break. We'll start British democratic politics.